Hello, this is Purge, and I'm bringing you Lina replay commentary. I'm doing slow burn again because that's the playstyle that I like. Right clicking, boring. Dealing magic damage, interesting. So I think I randomed. Yeah, it looks like based on my starting items, I think I randomed Lina, so I took her mid. I recognize that the right click Lina build is certainly the most popular and certainly the best way to play the hero, but I like casting spells and kiting in the fight a little bit, so I think that's interesting. So that's kind of what I played for. But I did something very different this game. When I picked my hero, random to my hero, I looked at the two of the heroes that I was up against, and the matchups were bad. Against Silencer and Dark Willow, it says that Lina is not a good hero. And the reason is probably because Arcane Curse is bad against Lina who wants to cast spells, and Global Silence is really bad against Lina who wants to cast spells. To defend herself, to do damage, to get fiery soul charges, etc., etc. All this stuff adds up and ends up hurting your hero. And Dark Willow is a very good anti-mobility hero who has very cheap anti-mobility. Bramble Maze will basically stop me from running away from danger and chasing enemies. And I also have to worry about getting terrorized, and I also have to worry about Curse Crown. It's just like a lot of very inexpensive disable that Lina would have trouble dealing with outside of BKB. So my assumption is that is why those hero matchups are bad. The reason Venge is a really bad matchup, and Venge is the third bad matchup in this game, based on paper, is that Venge can swap you out of position, and Lina is a lot of high level players call her a turret hero. She is one of those heroes that doesn't like to be out of position, basically, and as a result, being swapped is the most clear way that you can put somebody out of position. So. Now, the way that slow burn works is that 60%, I believe, of your damage is dealt up front, and then an extra 65% is dealt as burn damage over 3 seconds. So for last hitting, this facet is bad because you're basically doing 60% of the damage. So my Dragon Slave ends up doing like 40 damage instead of 85. So actually getting last hits with it actually just did 51 to the range creep there. So getting last hits with it and securing last hits with it is just straight up worse. So your first couple levels, especially your first level 1 to level 3 on this character, is just 100% worse. Not good. However, ooh, I did that sloppy. I just gave him like an extra auto attack for nothing. I'm close to being able to kill this guy, but I have to be a little careful with my regen here. So this ability ends up, like I missed that range creep, for example, because I used the nuke there. I've got my bottle coming at a good time, though, and I've got runes coming up soon, so I think this is a really good time for me to get the old bottle. But I kind of want to hit level 3 before I nuke this guy again, because doing so means my nuke does twice as much damage. So I'm just going to throw some shit out. He did a nice job denying my range creeps, which, again, slow burn. But I'm also getting his HP kind of low, so that didn't feel the absolute worst to me. And then you make sure you get Fiery Soul level 2. It's just really important. You could get Light Strike Array, but like you're losing so much from not having the attack speed bonus of Fiery Soul. It's just straight up not worth it. I'm going to punish this guy for taking my rune, so I'm going to hit him with another one of these, because this is going to do 165 damage base. Oh, and why is slow burn good? I just talked about all the reasons it's bad. The reason it's good is because effectively, we're talking about a 25% spell amp facet. So all the magic damage that I do from my base skills are actually doing 25% more damage than normal, which is obviously really good. He got my deny again, but I did harass him. So instead of doing 165 damage, I'm doing 20% extra, which is like 200 damage. So I'm doing 200 damage per nuke instead of 165. Is it worth it for the last hits? The answer is probably no, but this is just how it goes. I decided, I mean, he did such a good job on the range creep denies against me, but as a whole, I'm last hitting much better than him. Got 5 more. But he is probably getting decent levels. I've got Light Striker right now, so I have a chance to land a stun. Maybe I can kill him. I'm going to lose my Fiery Soul charges here, but I got really good denies, so it's not all bad. I picked up a Magic Wand first because I wanted to start building up charges, because doing so was going to help ensure that I don't die whenever he hits 6, for example. That felt like the good move to me. I should be bullying him more. I should be attacking him like every opportunity that I get, which is basically the whole purpose of Lina, is to lane dominate. This was way overly enthusiastic. Oh, and then I took an extra 2 tower attacks here. This was so bad, dude. This one felt not good. All this extra regen for nothing. There's his salve bust a little earlier. I'm not too afraid to fight this guy. Especially with runes coming here. I should have eaten this tango on the way through. And I'm going to buy a null talisman, increase my mana regen. Maybe I should have done that before getting the wand. It would have been reasonable to do this, but this is what I ended up doing. And then maxing out Dragon Slave, of course, because that's going to increase my nuke damage by the most. It's like the most obvious Dragon Slave thing that you could ever do is attack all the creeps to get them lower before you use your Dragon Slave. But I did hit him again, so it's doing a lot of damage. 245 times 20%, that means an extra 50. So it's like a 300 damage nuke here at level 5. So anytime that I can Dragon Slave this guy, I'm going to have a good time, most likely. He just did so good on those range creeps, dude. Did so well on them. But now he's so low that like I could have killed him right there, actually. That missed. I should have been watching him more. I was focused on the last hits. But I could have stepped to like here and nuked him when he ran this way. I 100% should have killed him before this. With that said, he doesn't have good last hits at all. And the Null Talisman is obviously going to help me with mana. I could have also gone Arcane Rush to be a little safer, but... Okay, I talked earlier in the video about these hero counters that are good against me. The Venge one is obvious, right? Like, I'm getting ganked. I'll talk about that in a second. Can maybe try to kill this Venge here. I had a magic wand. That was my hunt target, by the way. He missed slightly on the uphill. And he almost died. And he almost died to this creep. Watch this. Range creep. Hit down to 4. If that hit him again, he dies. Really, really close. Nice play from the Dark Willow. I needed one more right click. I got a lot out of that. Way more than I expected. But this does doing 25% more damage is crazy. That's 50 times 2. So it does 600 damage extra. Plus another 25. So it's like a 625 damage nuke instead of 500. It taking 3 more seconds for it to take is bad, because a lot of times what that ends up meaning is that you are simply doing they're not necessarily dying when they should. Sometimes they press Manta or BKB, which is going to dispel that damage from happening, and that's obviously not good. Decided to stun the Dark Willow and run away from the Bramble Maze. Pop my wand here. And I have decent movement speed because of the Fiery Soul, so I'm running at 350. I don't think Venge had boots yet. Yeah, he did not. He was really struggling. So I'm going to pop Bottle. My Chainmail kind of saved me. I'll talk about my Chainmail in a second, but I used my ulti just to be safe here. It was overkill, 100%, but it's a good kill. Killed the enemy mid again. I cannot complain. Alright, the reason I bought a Chainmail is because I looked at this Global Silence guy, and I looked at this Dark Willow, and I was like, I need solutions against these abilities. And I was like, I'm going to buy a fucking mech. And look, everybody in my game flamed me. They said mech is going to be bad. And this is going to maybe be a little bit of a video where I'm like talking about my dumb build ideas and why they sort of kind of work. Dark Willow is going to take a lot of damage here. Do they have swap yet? No, they don't actually. But that was effectively what I wanted to do, which was see if this could work okay. And frankly, the chainmail 100% kept me alive, without a doubt, in that previous gank, which was cool. But it doesn't mean it's necessarily good. And getting a faster Arcane Boot is probably a lot safer, but even against like Wave of Terror on Venge, having some armor against that is not bad. So Rune ends up being top. I'm gonna go walk for it. It's gone. They've taken it from me. And rather buy... Okay, I did buy a Tango. I decided to walk towards top here. I don't... Except that fight is already over. So now I'm gonna jungle, I guess. And I've got a Clarity and a Tango coming, which should sort of work as like a bottle refill. Arcane Boots as well. I forgot to put my Clarity in right when I got it. I needed to start working on my items. I could have also done this here instead, would have been better. Because then I could have Dragon Slave 2 creeps at a time instead of just 1. I decided to TP here. I don't know if he would have lived or not. It was going to be close. But it's a big kill. Cost me a TP to do that. Did I look bottom one time in the early game? No, I did not. Use my Clarity yet? I must have used it already. Drop that whenever I use Arcane Boots because I get slightly more mana. Gabba's push out the wave now. And very important to max out Fiery Soul second. Maxing Light Strike Ray looks good because you're like, ah, look at all this extra damage that I'm doing. Look at this extra stun duration. Look at the cooldown reduction. By all means, it's a really good ability, but giving it up for a passive that just makes your hero stronger in all ways in the early game, it's just not worth it. I'm going to nuke this guy because any nuke that I can do to him here is helpful. He goes to deny the tower, unfortunately for me, and he's going to have Ribbit. But I thought it was worth it to use my mana on him. But yeah, I'm getting all this extra attack speed. I've got 144 attack speed, 12% movement. Just by nature of having the skill leveled up, it's just worth it. Helps your lane. Alright, I've got the mech. The problem with mech on this hero is that I do have some mana problems, and it also doesn't give me mana regen. It also doesn't make it easier for me to get a kill in the sense that it doesn't help make it easier for me to kill some guy. I ended up getting Spark of Courage, and I think the damage talent for my right click was my goal here. The nice thing about mech, though, is two things. Lina has pretty good armor at 7.9 here at level 9. That armor is quite high. Oh, I want attack speed instead. Interesting. But the downside to my armor is that usually Lina doesn't end up buying a lot of armor items. You don't really buy a Witchblade on this hero, for example, because there's just better items for right-clicking. If you're playing like a right-click Lina build, something like a Maelstrom is a little bit more common, for example. I don't think Witchblade is like terrible on this hero. It's probably okay. Gives you projectile speed, but it gives you a lot of attack speed. You don't really need attack speed. You kind of want damage on this hero instead. My shield rune got popped here. Trying to fight down here. Pop mech there on the Abaddon. He was waiting to pop his ulti, but when he turned to go for it, I mech'd him, which meant that his HP was high enough to be covered. So I just did a little rotation here. But yeah, your armor's not that high. You don't really buy that many armor items, but by buying the mech, I give myself 4 armor, which isn't terrible. And it also gives me HP regen, which is mostly covered by bottle. But one of the things about my hero is that you do end up being a little bit squishy at times if your opponent's going you. So the mech is kind of cool in a way. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying there's not better items. But if I'm leveraging my facet to do just a lot of spell damage, don't want to use ulti against the guy that's repelled because he's taking less damage. Still trying to figure things out. I'm going to ulti that guy though. He almost died, but he did not die. I just pressed mech here. I bottled slightly wrong there. I bottled when I was taking earn damage still. Basically what happened was this guy ran me down with Bedlam and Shadow Realm. And it looks like he did end up killing the other guy, which was good. Joe got a double kill, which is great. He's gonna die too, unfortunately. Triple kill for Venge. That was really good for him. He really needed that catch up because he was 0-3 and or 0-2 and 2 after that. Didn't have mech though. That shit was on cooldown. 50-second cooldown from the start of the fight, I think. Or maybe I used it. No, I think I actually did use it against Dark Willow. It just wasn't quite enough heal. But yeah, mech and wand, kind of cool, right? I stay alive longer, and that is going to help me cast my spells more often and do more right-click damage. That was my idea. And then later on, when I get Greaves, then I can remove Global Silence really, really easily. The downside is that I would be losing a heal that I could potentially save to heal my opponents, or heal my teammates. No rune for me. Could have stacked when I did that, by the way, but I did not. Now I'm doing slaving and right-clicking. That is dragon slaving, of course. At level 10, I went for the dragon slave cooldown talent. Almost all Linas will go 25 damage because the 25 damage makes your fiery soul much more effective. But as long as I have enough mana regen, I feel comfortable spamming this ability since it does more damage. I'm going to double check the numbers just so I can again say how great this slow burn facet kind of is. 1.25. So it does 406 damage is what it's doing. So I'm getting 406 damage from my Dragon Slave. I thought about TPing here, but I wasn't sure I needed to. It kind of looked like a one fight to me. And then they kind of were still fighting. Yeah, we're kind of committed there in a weird way. You know, watching this back, I think it was fine that I didn't teleport. There were some complaints that the guy with the mech didn't TP to that fight, but that just looked weird to me. It's like they basically had the engagement end, and then afterwards they continued to fight. It's kind of what it felt like to me. Alright, my options here are Spark of Courage for damage and armor when I get low, which is kind of good because it's going to make my HP go longer when I have a lot of heal items like Mech and Wand. Essence Ring would be like Mech and give me a third source of heal between Wand and Mech, which is cool. Tumblatory is great. I could use it if I want mobility to better jump and start my fights. And Mana Drought is obviously going to increase my farm speed because it gives me a lot of mana regen. Not a lot, but some mana regen, which means I can spam spells and farm faster. And since I am a spellcaster, this is also a good skill. Or a good artifact to get. Over on enchantment, I probably don't want minus 30 attack damage because I have a lot of attack speed from Fiery Souls. That's going to reduce my DPS a lot. Magic resistance and mana regen is really good. I could get lifesteal, spell lifesteal, but I already have quite a lot of survivability and regen between bottle and mech, so I probably don't need that. And the movement speed and mana could also be good because the raw movement speed increase paired with Fiery Soul percentage base increase means that I'm going to be able to get out of trouble quite easily. But I ended up grabbing Essence Ring, and I think magic resistance is what I ended up taking here.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Missed a couple of last hits. And then I picked up Yules afterwards. I can't remember the exact reason I got Yules. I think it was because I was thinking about the mana regen, the mana needs of Mekansm, which does cost 100 to use it. So I was a bit worried that I would need, that I would run out of mana. So I wanted to get one other mana regen item. And I was thinking about maybe getting an Aether Lens. But Aether Lens is not defensive, really, other than the sense that you are farther away from danger than normal. So I could have gone Aether Lens maybe instead of the Yules. But I thought this would be better to protect myself against the annoying stuff that we're dealing with. We take a look at the net worth here.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I'm sitting pretty high. I had a good lane. We did a good job shutting down this guy. He's got 5 deaths here. And my Ogre Magi, who's I believe was the support, has Midas and is in a good place now. I think Viper was off lane. Gabba had a lot of deaths this game, so he was struggling a bit here. It's my regen beginning, so now I'm running into fight. Okay, now I'm preparing my Greaves as well. Nice power shot there. Pretty easy kill. I wanted to go for the haste, but he almost casted his ultimate. He should have just... Oh, he's on cooldown. Okay. He almost casted his ultimate, which would have stopped the physical damage, but he was going to die. He was going to tick out from my magic damage. His skill build was kind of weird, but he's an offlaner, so I guess he wanted to have... This skill is kind of a trap to level up a lot, as far as I'm concerned. You put so many skill points in it, and it like limits your other abilities that are in some ways better. But getting more points this would have just reduced his cooldown by like 5, so I don't know, maybe it's not worth. Anyways, I'm not afraid to hit dangerous creeps over here. I might need you guys to close your eyes for a second here, because I feel really strong at this point in the game. And if you feel strong, it tends to lead to you making mistakes. I saw these heroes, and I'm like, I can kill these guys with this haste ring. Like, almost certainly. And then, unfortunately, I realized things were dangerous, and I needed to pop Greaves. Close your eyes. Don't look. I thought there was, like, no way I could die in some ways. Well, that's not true. I didn't think that. I just wanted to poke them and maybe go for a kill, because I knew I could do a lot of damage to these guys, and because I had Greaves, I was like, well, I can get out of danger. But this guy hit a really fast Bramble Maze. And then halfway through the Bramble Maze, I decided, like, I can't stand here. This is going to get bad. I need to Greaves. And I did it too late, and as a result, I got swapped. If I instantly Greaves to remove the Bramble Maze, I think everything would have been fine. Chachi's draining mana here. He did really well this game. Fast Diffusal here makes his focus fire a lot better. And then B's over here owning as well. 6, 1, and 8. Aether Lens, Midas. Mix of skill builds. Taking every kill. Anyways, I'm alive now with my team. I've got Greaves to remove Global Silence. I've got Essence Ring and Yules, so my chances of dying basically 0. I basically can't die, as you guys saw in that last fight.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
But I still do have a lot of net worth, which is cool.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Let's talk about other cool things that Greaves does. I landed my stun on him, so I felt pretty comfortable popping my ulti there. If you do land a stun and there's 1 second later... That was an interesting miss. I didn't think it was worth pushing. Someone's going to get swapped. We were kind of talking about it, but it's just not valuable, I don't think. Do we have Viper Shard? We don't. There's no reason to keep going. It's not good. One cool thing about Greaves is the Guardian Aura. It's the main thing. Obviously, the Dispel is really useful, and being able to Dispel Global Silence is something that I'm going to want to do. But it gives me 4 armor based, and it gives me a 3 armor aura. So that means this is a 7 armor item right now, which is pretty good. That gives me 17 armor instead of just 10. So against certain heroes, not upset about that. In fact, this guy decided he wanted to kill me. I'm going to use Essence Ring because I realized I'm probably in trouble. We'll just do this slowly. I pressed Yule's first. Now I'm going to have to Greaves to get rid of Global Silence. There, Global Silence is gone. And now I have to do as much fucking damage as I possibly can. So I'm going to hit him with everything. He got hit with the double hit from Mr. V, which is good. And now I'm basically just 100% dead. But I popped Wand here. Right-clicking was pretty much all I could do at that point. If Mr. V's not there, I think he probably still dies. Unless he forgot to Essence Ring here. So maybe that's part of it. He got chain stun. Maybe he lives with Essence Ring and Wand. But getting the kill was not the absolute worst. I did lose gold in this circumstance. But PA's dead, so I don't know. I didn't feel that bad about it. But certainly another mistake by me. And then I decided to buy more mana regen. In this case, I think it's for... Aether Lens or something is what I was thinking. But I felt like I lived a decently long time. I mean, he's just got Orb of Blight and Battle Fury, but having the extra armor is useful. I think the majority of the damage I was taking was magic damage, so having Essence Ring percentage is really good. And now at level 15, I didn't get this because I got 4 points in Light Strike Array, maybe a mistake. But the Fire Resist Soul, or full Fiery Soul magic resist per stack talent at 15 is really good on me. I think most people took Light Strike Array damage because they wanted to have more damage from Light Strike Array, which makes sense. Like it's a really high damaging skill if you hit a lot of people. But I was unsure about it. I felt like I just wanted magic resistance. Because now with 7 stacks, I'm getting 35% magic resistance from Fiery Soul. That's just amazing. Look, I'm at 62 now. So now I'm pairing a heal with Essence Ring, a wand, and a Greaves heal. And all of these things together are going to make my HP go longer, and I have magic resistance from this Fiery Soul talent, and I have armor from Guardian Greaves. So, like, I'm not the tankiest guy in the world. I'm not trying to say I am. But I'm actually tanky-ish. And normally this hero isn't tanky in some ways. You have to buy, like, a BKB. You have to get a Satanic. That's when you become tanky on this hero. So I thought that was kind of a cool thing about this build. Even though it's probably not... It's not going to be as viable as, like, the top builds right now. But I thought it was... it felt playable-ish. And there's a lot of int spellcasters typically where Greaves kind of does give them that option of maybe elongating their survivability in a fun way. Trying to get here to help out, but unfortunately I'm way too late. One downside to Greaves in this circumstance, though, is I did have to deal with Global Silence. Using this as a Dispel means I don't always get to use it at the right time to heal. So it's not always going to heal the right heroes. Oh, the other reason that I wanted more mana regen is because I knew that once I got Greaves, I'm not going to press this off cooldown to give me mana like you do on Arcane Boots. So I lost some mana regen from that. With that said, though, Greaves itself gives you 1.5 mana regen, and the Aura gives you 1.5 mana regen. So this is actually a 3 mana per second item, which is kind of a lot. So that kind of solves a little bit the penalty of upgrading to Greaves. You can't spam it, but the passive mana regen that it gives you is better. And I forgot, when I was talking about the Aura, obviously the other aspect of it is when you get really low on HP, below 25%, you get more health regen, more mana regen, and more armor as well. So if you're about to die, the extra 8 armor can help. I saw this PA here. I didn't see him before I used my spells. So this felt kind of bad, but I kind of want to hit him with stuff, but he was blurred, so that meant I can't actually use my ulti on him. But I'm kind of just trying to push the side wave a little bit safely. I grabbed Mystical again for magic resistance, again, because I'm worried about all the magic damage I was taking, which is mostly from this guy who's been playing really well. Spirit Vessel, Bedlam, that kind of thing. But I got Whisper of the Dread, which is 10% more damage. And 10% more spell amp basically on this hero with this facet is really, really good. Because if I do 10% more damage and Slow Burn makes it do 25% more damage, my 10% gets increased by 25%. So really it's like a 12.5 spell amp item. So any spell amp that you buy on heroes like this who have other sources of increased damage, Decrep is a good example. It's always really, really good to stack those things. You're getting more value than other heroes would. Spotting 2 heroes top means that I have to be really careful here, but with extra cast range, I can basically like spam these waves and push them without having to worry about dying because I can be in such a defensive position while I do it. And then I decided to buy Ags next. The reason Ags is really good, when you activate it gives you magic resistance and spell amp. Obviously spell amp is fantastic. I just talked about why it's great. And this also is another way to do it. If I get Flame Cloak and I do 30% more damage, 35% more damage, that's going to stack with Slow Burn. And it's going to make me less likely to die to a hero like Dark Willow or whoever else. I'm going to go play near my team now. I did not have my Greaves here. Alright, let's keep an eye on Viper here because he lives a very long time in this fight. I'm getting here, checking my aura on Greaves. I use Greaves there. Chachi lands a monster ulti. I already want to go back. And that whole time that he was almost dying but not dying, he had a bonus 8 armor from guarding Greaves against physical damage. Alright, let's go watch that again, because I was curious about how I used my spells. I think I started off with the Dragon Slave, which I didn't like too much, but over the Corrosive Skin. But Chachi had a really good shard usage here. He got his... This got shielded off, which is... Oh, I used my stun there on the Omni. I forgot about that. Dragon Slave hits like 3 people. I ulti the Omni, so he ends up dying. These guys are all ticking and doing a bunch of damage to each other. Viper lives forever, basically. I can't Yules the PA because he's BKB'd, unfortunately. But we're able to kill the illusion afterwards, which is good. So this all felt pretty solid to me. It basically started off with a fight that I wasn't there for. I was late to covering. Joe's about to get extra armor and regen now. 8 armor, 15 HP per second here. Little catch from Mr. V with a stun. He just went 8th, just killed that PA from range. That was pretty fun. And then we end up getting a big team fight win. And a set of racks, which felt cool. And then we decided to hit more. Because they were kind of dying one by one. The PA dying there kind of made this easier to stay. Greaves again to heal everybody up a bit. Got lucky hitting 2 here. Ulti on the Omni, who's taking lots of damage. Omni goes full to 0. He doesn't even get a chance to use... I don't know who he used Repel on. I was afraid he would be chasing me. Gabba ran in there. I was a little surprised about that one. Great Yules there to save himself. I didn't really want to dive past this, to be honest, because I'm worried about dying. But I think I have my axe coming now, which will be nice. More farm to get? Don't mind if I do. Ooh, missed that 80 gold. That was bad. So, I've got sustain. I got armor. I got mana regen. I got cast range. And I'm also going to buy Shard, which frankly is kind of bad. The times before that I've played Lina caster with slow burn and I got Shard, it felt bad because you get the damage you deal goes to an all damage barrier for you. So it's in some ways it's better with the other facet, because if you ulti and it does 1,000 damage, you right away get 1,000 damage barrier. But with slow burn, it only does 60% of the damage right away. So you're doing like 600 barrier, and then you need it to tick for 3 seconds for the barrier to do its entire full ticking. It's like ultimately the main problem with slow burn, right? it's hard to do all the damage before stuff happens, before a guy BKBs, before he presses his wand, etc., etc. But I think it's kind of okay, no joke, with this Greaves build, with Ags, and with the Fiery Soul magic resistance. I got Laguna Blade cooldown as well, because I'm not that right-clicky from Fiery Soul, and now the cooldown is going to be 30 seconds. So, with this Greaves build, my survivability is better. I'm less likely to die to some like physical carry who jumps me because my armor is much higher. And as a result, I feel like having the shard is better this way. If you pair survivability with survivability, the survivability is going to feel better. I'm not going to necessarily die in 3 seconds of stuns and a PA going on me because I have more armor. So if the barrier is more likely to last for 3 seconds because my damage is going to be done, and that barrier paired with the armor is more likely going to keep me alive. So as long as I use Flame Cloak and get my ulti off on a guy and take all the damage, we're talking about a lot of damage. So I'm just going to, while we kill Roche, I'm just going to do math really quick. Actually, I'm going to pause and do math. Okay, so when all the spell amp combined, my ulti does 1450 damage. That's if I use Flame Cloak first. And that 1450 times slow burn is going to mean that my ulti does 1800 damage total magic. That's before their resistances. So the amount of damage that you actually get from your ulti with Flame Cloak, with my spell amp, and with slow burn ends up being a huge amount of damage. So basically, if I ulti and that gets reduced by 25%, I'm still probably getting like 1500 damage from my ultimate, assuming they don't have any more magic resistance than 25, which is not the case, but you know what I mean. So I think that's kind of cool. Makes the shard feel a lot better. If it was just the 1450, it's a little different. Obviously an E-Blade makes this build really good typically because you can use E-Blade and Flame Cloak to do crazy damage. Those synergize very well, similar like slow burn. Okay, I need to be looking at their heroes more, I think. I managed to land this. Unfortunately, my Greaves had been used before. I used Flame Cloak here. I just need to ulti somebody. Unfortunately, I got feared. I'm still alive, though. I got Lotus here. I don't really want to stun this guy. Need to ulti somebody. I ultied an illusion, which isn't... I got the barrier. Did they change this? I thought the barrier has to tick. We'll basically smash this fight. I'm going to watch this again. If I had my Greaves here, I could maybe kill this guy. He wouldn't have been able to get his BKB off. I got E-Bladed here from Mr. V, which is good. Stops the PA from hitting me. I wanted to ulti this guy, but he went invis, so I have to settle with him getting stunned. I also don't have Flame Cloak on anymore. I just got the full barrier. Because based on the math that I just did, this makes sense. Okay. So maybe the barrier just comes no matter what. Maybe they buffed it with slow burn. Which frankly I think is fair. The barrier and the damage being delayed is like kind of problematic. Joe must live. I'm missing a lot, but any damage I can do is good. I could dive maybe and ulti that guy, but I'm a mildly conservative player at times. Stacks are up. I could still go E-Blade. I think a Blink Dagger would be good. I think a BKB could work. I think Shivas could work. Does somebody have a Shivas, by the way? I don't think anybody did buy Shivas. Yeah, I'm surprised but I guess illusions take more damage. Maybe the number was so high because the illusion took bonus damage, and as a result of it taking bonus damage, I got like a crazy barrier is what happened. So in some ways, Laguna Blading a illusion is not terrible on this hero. It could be something like this. Alright, we got all their towers. We're diving a little bit here. Let's look at my barrier tech. See, based on the damage I'm getting, I'm getting more damage as it ticks on the Dark Willow here. So I just got extra barrier because it was an illusion. So that's good to know. Since illusions take way more damage, my first tick gave me a crazy heal. Which would mean if I don't have slow burn and I one-shot an illusion, it would give me like a bonkers amount of survivability. I've got the flame thingy. Hit that on 2. They've got over combustion, I believe. Got my ulti in 1. Ayul's here.
Dire's ancient is under attack.
I don't know why I didn't ulti. I should have ultied. That would have been priority number 1, because I would have gotten a bunch of heal from it. Or a bunch of barrier. I might have been able to fight on. So I don't know, maybe this just helped us hit a timer, because the game kind of got out of hand in that middle fight. The post-game actually really showed them having a win rate for the majority of the game, even at this point. Maybe not at this point, we had an advantage, but it had like a disadvantage even though we were winning the gold and experience for a long time. So that was kind of surprising to me. I decided to pick up an Ethereal Blade. This guy does have a Deso, by the way, but you really can't tell based on him attacking me. I'm not dying really fast. The Greaves is certainly helping. Gabba wanted to go try to kill the throne, so he went by himself. And then Joe decided to go do this, which he is doing damage. Then he got feared. So we decided that at this point we were not doing the best job on sieging. So instead what I decided to do is hit creeps. Which, you know me, I do like to hit creeps. Items are fun. New neutral item. I could get Spell Amp here. Dazoom Bloodright is higher AoE for these 2 skills, which is typically very good. Bonus cast and attack range is almost always what Lina's will get because they care more about their right click, and the fact that it gives cast range and attack range is really good. So I decided to go Whisper the Dread with magic resistance and cast range. I was considering getting debuff duration because 8% more disable duration would be good for Light Strike Array. That stun would last longer, but without something like a Hex, I don't really care that much about disable. I care more about just raw damage because raw damage is good. And while the 6, I could get Whisper the Dread with the 6% extra, I feel like having 16 magic resistance against a magic damage heavy lineup and 100 cast range is just going to be better than 6% Spell Amp to me. Because I wanted some cast range increase. I have some with Aether Lens, obviously, but having extra felt kind of good. So I hemmed and hawed about this a little bit. Movement speed, evasion, not terrible either, because it's going to help me to get away from them and to kite them and to not die to one of their heroes. But yeah, Whisper the Dread, this looks great. Whisper the Dread with cast range, can't complain. My stun range is gigantic. My ulti range is gigantic. One downside of having Greaves though is I don't have BOTs, which means my movement speed getting around the map is a little bit weaker, but once you get Fiery Soul, it really doesn't feel that bad to me. I got this beautiful 7 armor. Everybody should have 7 armor in their life. Oh, I forgot about this 10% from Whisper the Dread earlier when I did my math. Mr. V, no, I tried to Greaves him, but I missed. I'll see how I play this fight. I got an E-Blade. I was worried about him dying, so I decided to E-Blade him, which is probably not a good choice. I got swapped here. So far, a bad team fight. I Yules myself because I'm taking damage. I should use Flame Cloak and ulti somebody. There's the Flame Cloak. The barrier is ticking. The barrier do be ticking. So it definitely kept me alive. This was their final guy dying, by the way. Or the illusion. So that ended up being okay. Tried to E-Blade him because I knew the PA was going to go on him. My barrier will be barriering. Here's PA going on me. I'm going to Yules myself. It said he did a 2,000 damage crit, but you know how that goes. Oh, my stun happened to hit him. That was crazy, by the way. I could not believe that. I'm going to E-Blade this guy to slow him down. He might tick out. Or I have to right-click him, which is fine. He's like a crazy slow. 50% slow. What's this talent?
Dire's ancient is under attack.
Is it shard? I don't know. I was really surprised how slow I felt from that. Still alive. I don't know. Shard just felt good there. Shard plus Greaves, man. Survivability items and the shard. As long as you get your ulti off on somebody with Flame Cloak, with magic resistance, it just felt good. Joe was going for it here. You played this guy to force him to BKB. He just pressed it like right away. I tried to Greaves. I didn't do it at the right time. I don't know what to do clearly. I used Flame Cloak. There's the ulti on him. Do you see what I mean, guys? I don't know. Like, this is a PA with like crazy items going on me, and I'm just like living. That felt fun. I didn't have to worry about him like jumping and just exploding me. Like, Nullifier by all means could counter my Yules, but like Greaves is an item that is just doesn't give a shit about Nullifier. That's one of the cool things about that item. You can't dispel me getting healed. You can't dispel my aura giving me a bunch of armor, especially when I get low in HP. So, I don't know. Greaves has felt like the anti-carry item on some like int casters when you do want to play them as like spellcasters. I don't necessarily think it's viable, but I think it's cool and possible. I'm going to restart Dota really quick so we can look at the breakdowns. Alright, so if we look at the breakdown of damage dealt, it spreads out the slow burn numbers with these spells. So these numbers are basically at 60% of the damage they actually did. So if you're curious about the ratio, you have to compare Dragon Slave, Lightstrike Array, and Laguna Blade with each other. I ended up doing, what, 5,000 with Laguna Blade. We can basically double these numbers if you think about it, and it's worse than subtracting it from here. Because slow burn does about the same, does 65 over 3 seconds. So, with that said, some of it's going to get dispelled for sure. But yeah, 10,000 here, 16 here, about 7k here. Not that bad. Combustion is where enemies are near each other, and if they take magic damage near other heroes, they will do overheat damage and do damage to each other. So Combustion ended up being not that effective this game, which sometimes does happen. Every 175 damage Lina does to an enemy hero causes them to overheat, doing damage to nearby allies. This one seems to be a little better with right-click build in some ways, because the times that these guys are all stacked next to each other in the perfect moment to use all your spells on like 2 or 3 guys, it does happen occasionally, and I've seen some crazy moments, but it ends up being not super common. But if like a really tanky guy is standing next to other heroes, then you're basically doing AoE damage with Combustion. Is kind of how it works. 400 radius on that, so that seems fine. These are reflected things from Lotuses that Chachi put on me, and then my right click damage, which wasn't that high. One thing that I thought was really interesting though was the healing that I got out of Greaves, because I didn't use it like the best all the time, but the fact that it was giving high armor and high regen also probably contributed. Some of these numbers are very round, but like the smaller digits are possibly heal, possibly regen. I don't know if it counts regen or not. I guess. I am not sure. These partial heals are probably like somebody wasn't quite full HP, so when you used it, it ends up only healing part of your health, is my guess. But you cannot deny the armor, and I don't think you can deny the survivability that I got against the PA who had a Deso, who normally should just be exploding me without any doubts. Like, I should just be dying to that guy. But I didn't. Between like a Greaves and a Yules, I could protect myself. And yeah, he was behind on net worth, certainly. But at the end, he actually had more than I did. So, I don't know. I did a lot of damage. I did 8,000 heal for my team, which is decent for like an item. And I allowed myself to be protected against Silencer without like really fucking up my item build. And I also... The elephant in the room is I could have bought BKB. But, look, I want to explore other ways to play the game. Like using abnormal items that people don't expect. Like, PA did not expect that matchup to be like that, where I had armor and heal and stuff like that, you know? And the shard was actually good. The shard was legitimately good. I feel like that was actually good. It saved my life in a couple of circumstances. So that's why I had fun doing this game. And then the next game, I was so jazzed on mech that I bought it in a really bad moment, and we got smashed. Because I was playing Dazzle offlane, and it wasn't a good time to buy it. So I screwed myself the game after this, because I got too mech pilled. But this game, it felt good. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll try this again sometime in the right circumstances if I really need a dispel. If they have a really annoying hero that's going to buy Orchid, for example, I think that is a good opportunity to be able to buy Greaves, maybe. And the last elephant in the room, again, I mentioned this during the video, but being forced to use this just to remove a dispel when and thus losing the heal is a bummer. That part sucks about this item. So if I get globaled and I need to stun somebody ASAP, I'm going to Greaves and stun. But it sucks that a lot of times you're not going to be missing 325 health, maybe, when you press it. So that's a bummer. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll try to get some more variety in. I'm struggling a little bit. I keep picking a lot of the same heroes. Obviously, I did Bloodseeker the other day. That one was really good. But I need to start playing. I need to try out some other heroes and to get some more build variety. With that said, there hasn't been a patch in a long time. So there's not like too much new stuff in the game other than monster hunting. But I'll try to bring that stuff to you guys soon. Okay, goodbye. Thanks for watching.